All right. Let's make this party happen, y'all. Thursday, I used to think that Friday was the very best day of the week. And now I think maybe it's Thursday. I do. I think maybe it's Thursday. Because there's that sense of the week is coming to an end and I can relief. I can relief. That's weird. All right. Anyway. I don't think anybody is here yet. I can add a comment here. Yes, I can. Oops, if I can type, that is. Anybody anywhere? Nobody's looking yet. That's a copy. Ah, Trish, you are the very first. Hello. Hello. All alone in the room, just you and me. Welcome. Welcome. I was just saying, hi, Trish. Thanks for saying hey. I was just talking to myself before you got here. And I was saying to myself, I used to think that Friday was the best day of the entire week. And now I'm thinking Thursday is the coolest because by Thursday, it's like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Maybe that's just because I'm having a sort of time where I don't have to do a whole bunch of work. I have to work, and most of the work I do takes up most of my time, but it's for me. It's for me. I get to do this stuff. So that's very different. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Florecita. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Estás or está? I'm learning. I'm learning as I go. So welcome to the Empowerment Tarot area of life. Well, hey, Bambi. Nice to see all of you. Really nice to have you here. My name's Lori, and I, once upon a time, was your basically disempowered person. I was the young woman who, okay, let me start over. I was the young woman and the not so young woman who would give my power away in order to have love. I would settle for certain things, that certain types of people in my life that weren't necessarily the very best for me. But I always use everything that happens to me to learn from. And that makes everything have a purpose, not because it's a purpose given to me by outside of me, but because I decide to look at it and learn from it and empower myself and be that woman who says, you know what, I'm not willing to waste a moment of my lifetime, because even if I'm not in the so-called place where I want to be in my life at any time, I can make it be my place. I can make it make sense for me. I can make it have a purpose for me. And to me, that's important, because I don't want to get to the end. I don't even want to get to the end of a freaking day and go, oh my God, I didn't use my time well. That just pisses me off. I can't take it when that happens to me. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Happy Thursday. Well, my goodness, the news is interesting, isn't it? The last couple of days. Yeah, it's really, really awful, actually, that we women have been the situations that we're always in, how we're discounted, we're shamed, we're abused, we're all the things that happen. And, then we're not believed when we say that something happened. I think that is now about to be starting on the chopping block, because all that's coming out in our news in this country, sorry, my nose itches, which I think is that supposed to mean you're going to get rich? Works for me. Well, I'll go on a cruise. What do you say? when we start to hold people accountable, we start to say, I'm not going to sweep this under the rug, then something starts to happen. I'm putting little notes in the chat now that I figured out how to. I've gotten very. I've got two computers going. Over here is YouTube. Here's my TikTok people. Blue Canary Art. I'm an artist. What kind of art, Blue Canary? How do we find you? How do we look at your artwork? Anybody who's an artist, put your information in the chat. Let people know who you are. We've got to have community, you all. We've got to create actual connection through this crazy platform. So if you are somebody who is an entrepreneur and you want to share what you do, you want to share your website, you want to share all of that kind of thing, please do. We can help each other, right? Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for the collective today. And before I do that, I just want to say to you all that it's going to be okay. It's not going to be the same as it was, as our lives were, but it's going to be okay. Why do I say that? How can I possibly say that? Look at what is going on with people. There was a chaplain that was taken out of the Cincinnati Children's Hospital in the middle of the freaking day by freaking ICE. And he's an immigrant. He's been here for 10 years. He's Egyptian. Oh, those two cards. I should hold those cards, shouldn't I? Okay, sorry, got it. So how can I possibly say it's going to be all right? Would you like to know? Here's the thing. We are in an energetic universe, and I know about a thimbleful about astrology, but people that I watch on YouTube know more than a thimbleful, so that's pretty epic. And check this out, just in case you're like I've been, and you're like, I don't know whether to believe all this astrological stuff or not. But they're talking about all the way that the planets they're all the truth-telling planets, all the energies that go, you better stop hiding because we are coming to see you. We're going to see what's under the covers. And so look what's happening in our news. Look what's happening with the whole, bad men. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know. I think that the people who look at what we're doing here online are like, don't say those names. You're a terrible person, whatever. So I'm just going to try to stay out of trouble. But I think you know who I mean. So 3 cards just came out for the collective. And they're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. All right. So here's the first one. 4 of Wands. I've got YouTube here, TikTok here. So we've got the 4 of Wands. And as a collective, we are building. Now, this is kind of under the surface, really. We're building a new energy. We're building to a great degree a desire to not do things in the ways that they've been done. Now, this is a challenge for us because we're really, really used to, like, just get me back to stasis, right? Like, get me back to the place where I feel secure and comfortable. I mean, we can't be blamed for that, right? Comfort feels good. That's why it's called comfort. All right. But we're on a mission here. We're on a mission. We have to be part of this mission, you guys. We have to be part of the mission. Hey, by the way, I've got a goal today, a gift goal. So if you'd like to contribute and if you'd like to share this whole thing with your friends, that'd be awesome. And you'll also see that I've got my, on YouTube, it's over here, and on TikTok, it's over here, but you'll see my tarot spread. The Good Girl Exit Plan, meaning all of the rules that we internalized, that we were taught when we were kids, that we are taught every day from images, words, assumptions of like, oh, that's just a joke. It's not just a joke. Words actually have incredible emotional power, and they can really kick our butt. right? So we're in a, oh, and hearts too. For some reason, the hearts just make me feel freaking fabulous. Like, I love that. I love them. Okay. We have got to be part of this mission. And I think that as a collective, we're starting to get that. I think we're getting that. And now this deck is all women. I love this deck. I think it's just really gorgeous. I think it's really powerful and very clever. Now, I also got the King of Swords. Now, you'll notice this is a woman. Okay. So it's not about gender, if it's a queen or a king. It's not about gender. It's about energy. It's about whether you're looking forward or you're looking backwards. It's about other kinds of things. And swords are about how our perspective, how we're holding our perspective. Okay. The King of Swords is, he's been through it, or she's been through it. The king's been through it all. And that's because the way I see it is that our consciousness, that's the most challenging thing that we have, that we need to switch, that we need to sort of switch up. And it's very comfortable where we are. But if you want to have a better life, it's not going to come from outside. It's going to come from switching slightly, even just slightly, really, seriously, just a little bit, switching how we think, how we perceive, what we understand, and applying it to our own selves. This is a big shift, okay? Really, really big shift. But the collective is up for it. We're up for it, y'all, okay? It's really time for us to start thinking about, how do I build something that is full of the feminine in terms of care for one another? We know that we would like to have inclusivity. DEI is going to come back as soon as the Orange Menace and his crew go bye-bye, which the people who can read time frames and astrology are saying is going to be, it's all going to be waning shortly. Actually, it's going to start waning a little bit. It's not going to be like turning off the light, unfortunately, but that's going to start in August, September. And then there's going to be a blue wave, you know, when we will have the elections, we will have the midterms, and the Democrats are going to get back in. Now, this is not the time. That is not the time where you want to go, oh, good, I can go back to sleep. Because God knows I've slept a lot about politics. And part of it was okay. And part of it was laziness. And what we need most to do is to decide how we want to build. So, that being said, what are you doing to shift your life these days? What is it that you would like to know? And you can see that I've got the tarot spread here, the Good Girl Exit Plan tarot spread. So what you can do is, if you want to put a number in the chat, one would be the inherited script, two would be silenced voice, three would be the energetic leak, and so on. Sacred Rage would be 4. So if you want to put a number in there, I'll know that you'd like a reading. It's just a 1-card reading for this, but if you want to have a full 6-card reading, delve into what it is that you feel is holding you back and start to understand how to take your power back in ways that maybe you didn't think you could, then 6, please. Okay, Paint Slayer. That's a great name. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to put the email in here. I'm getting my reading links set up, and it's like another week away. So, but if you want a reading, you want to pay for one, and there's 30 minutes, there's 60-minute readings, you know, then just write to me at that email I put in there, and we'll make it happen. Okay, easy peasy. All right, Paint Layer. Number 6 is the Embodied Sovereign. Yeah. Okay, let's see what Spirit would like to give us for you. Paint Slayer. It's so cool. I just love that. Let's see. Yeah, please follow. Please share this with your people. Please send hearts. Hearts and flowers, please. Kiss me on the cheek. Okay, here we go. All right, Paint Slayer. Oh, thank you so much. There is just something about those hearts that makes me so freaking happy. I'm like, somebody loves me. It's the same, you know how they say if you have like you get likes on Facebook and stuff that it does something to your system. It's crazy. What can you do? And that's okay, as long as you're not going there only to get your emotional fulfillment, right? Thanks for following, you guys. Thanks, Paint Slayer. Thanks, Kristen. Thanks, anybody else who I missed. Paint Slayer, darling, sweetheart. 10 of Wands. So I want to feel into this for a second. Oh, okay, embodied sovereign. Oh my God, you're a lot like I am, actually, I'm going to say, because I was told back some 35, 40 years ago by a woman who was a channeler that she said, you're just one of those people who, if you would just surrender, that magic word, right, that we don't really know what it means, but when it happens, we're like, oh, that was good. Anyway, but she said to me, if you would just surrender, all the things you need will come to you. And I said, that sounds great. How do I do it? She couldn't tell me. But I think that you too, this is where you find your sovereign. So what I'm thinking is, what I'm feeling is, it's like a very narrow door, but it's a door that's only for you. Yet don't have to go out looking for tons of ways to get through this doorway. It's about getting back to simplicity. It's about being simple. Not necessarily like humble, but simple. I don't know about you in specifics, but if you're super smart can get you into a little bit of trouble, I have found. Because then, we get caught up in the head. We get caught up in, I have to make this happen and I have to understand this and things like that. It's kind of, it's a sticky place to get to because then you don't let in the intuition and the inspiration. So 10 of Wands, Paint Slayer. Let yourself enjoy what you paint. Let yourself paint outside the lines. Let yourself do something that's actually bad. What I mean is, I used to go to this yoga retreat and they would have these dance things every day at noon, 12 to 1. And the idea was they would have somebody who was sort of leading it, vocally anyway, and going, okay, now I want you to just dance like you don't, like nobody's watching, just dance. And I want you to do it wrong. And it was like permission to do it wrong. And so suddenly people were saying to me, oh, are you a professional dancer? I'm like, what? Because I was just letting myself be. And that's what little kids do. You cannot watch a little kid express themselves and just have fun and not think that they're fabulous. That you don't go, God, what a stupid way to dance, or what a stupid way to play. No, all you feel is that exuberance. So that's what, Paint Slayer, you've got this. This is your magic sovereign, because this means that you are truly, truly connected energetically. Awesome. You're so connected energetically to spirit, and spirit is not apart from you. Spirit is part of, well, you are part of spirit. You're an extension of spirit. Okay. I won't belabor the point, although I just did. Awesome. I hope that was helpful, babe. Oh my goodness. So I've got this crazy job. Oh my God, you are so very welcome. It's my pleasure. And I'd love to know what kind of art or painting work or whatever it is you do. I'm curious. I'm also an artist. I did not do this. I got that off of Temu. But I'm also an artist and I do all kinds of stuff. I'm just a creative nut. And I could not figure out for the life of me how to become a freaking entrepreneur. So, you know what I did? I went to all of these workshops and I ended up paying like tens of thousands of dollars. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's insane. And it didn't take me anywhere. Like, didn't do anything. You know, so I mean, that begs the question, what's the answer? What are you supposed to do? So as I lived it, and I'm putting together parts of my business that are going to help people like me who, and there's a lot of us out there, especially women, especially for very good reason, because we're first of all trying to fit into what do you call it? We're trying to fit into a system that was created by men for men, by rich white men for rich white men. It just what I mean, that's a fact. That's not like a put down, it's just the truth. And there was never any idea that people of color, that women, that anybody would be, you know, pulling up a table going, excuse me, I need to have a little bit of, you know, room here. And so they're like freaking out because we've been taken over the table. And that's exactly what's happening in our world, is that we're taking over the table. So, exceptional. Payday. Payday. Can you explain payday? Because I don't have it. I have, I mean, I don't even, is that like, shoot, what is that? Is that like Venmo, or is that more like another kind of Facebook? It's one I haven't heard of, but, oh. Oh boy. When you get, holy crap, that's funny. I can't even go old school anymore. Holy crap, that's hilarious. Okay, definitely do, honey. I'm ready. I think maybe I better act my age. I do act my age, but you know what? Age ain't a thing if you've got your spirit turned on bright. Turn your spirit on bright. Okay. Who else would like a one card reading? Thanks, baby. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. I got that energetically. That's beautiful. So who else would like a reading? Because if you would like a one card reading, you can see the tarot spread, and number 1 is inherited script. Number 2 is silenced voice. Following me over there? I may be going a little too fast. Inherited script, silenced voice, energetic leak. Next line down, sacred rage, quantum choice, embodied sovereign. So if you put a number in there, I'll know what you would like me to read about for you, or I will just choose somebody and I will read something, and then, uh-oh. Uh-oh, you got a reading. Oh no. Oh God. All righty. Hello, Tina. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Robin. Hi, Abundant. Hi, everybody. It's Thursday. Is that not just the best freaking news ever? God. Okay, who am I getting? I'm going to pick some. Robin Candelaria. Candelaria. I love that's a beautiful name. Robin Candelaria. I'm going to choose to read for you from the number 2 position in the tarot spread, which is the silenced voice. Now, this is something that we all have, y'all. Okay. It's what we've got. Wuzzles. Oh my God. I love that name. Wuzzles. It feels snuggly. Very nice. So it's something we all have. We've all been silenced by the programming of our social programming, our social shoulds, right? Weird, right? Maybe I'm becoming sacred from my throat chakra on out. It's interesting. Anyway, let me know if my soul starts to leave my body. And oh dang, I forgot. Who was I reading for? Dag nabbit, I did it again. Can anybody tell me who I was reading for? That'd be a nice save if you did. Let me see if I can figure that out. Who was I reading for? Oh, good heavens. Okay, well, maybe you'll know who you are and you just don't want to say, but the silenced voice, what we women do, the men do it too, but we are so always at the bottom that when we internalize all of these rules, like you should be likable, you should be productive, you should be nice, instead of kind. Kind means you're still in the room. Nice is let me give my power away. No good. We embody these, we bring them into our mind, and we tend to go into, I know I went into therapy and workshops, spiritual workshops and business workshops and personal growth workshops. And they, most of them were good. Most of them were really good to great. But when I would come out of the workshop, I didn't feel so great. I was not able to maintain how much better I felt. So, the silenced voice, it's a pattern. We've been taught something and we keep practicing it here, not realizing we can switch it. So whoever I was reading for, you know what? I'm going to read for you and for the collective, because the silenced voice, this is what is starting to crack in our culture. We have people coming forward, women coming forward who were girls, young girls, whose lives were taken from them, taken out of their hands, by men of power and women of power who help the men of power do it. And they're starting to come forward and speak their truth. And they're being listened to. And this is really, in our culture, it's kind of a first. It's kind of a first. Hey, I have somebody here on YouTube. Hi, whoever you are. I'm doing two things. I'm over here on YouTube and over here on TikTok. And you're my first person over here on YouTube tonight. Welcome. So I'm doing a reading for the silenced voice for women, which is how we keep, and they left again. Oh, love is so fleeting. Let me pull a card for our collective silenced voice. Spirit, what would you like me to do? You want this card? Ooh. So this came out, the Ace of Cups. And actually, it came out upside down. Something that has been really silenced in us is our self-love, forget self-love. Self-love can seem so far away from what we can even do. But self-liking, being kind, just being kind to ourselves is a big deal. Why is that a big deal? Why would that matter? Why is that a thing? So what? I'm nice to myself. My life still is hard, or my relationship is still difficult, or it's gone, or whatever the thing is that we're doing over here, Why does it matter if I'm kind to myself? Well, let me tell you why it's important, because we are energetic beings. We are energetic beings. We are not just this stuff. This is the spacesuit, right? This is the spacesuit. And what happens when we are kind, that the energetic feeling of kindness it's tiny, you guys. It's not like you have to suddenly become Mother Teresa to yourself. Like, good luck with that, right? That's really hard. But there are different vibrations to different emotions. Okay. So if I'm ragging on myself and I'm being really mean to me, and I'm being like, you dolt, why aren't you making more progress with your business? Or you idiot, how come you keep settling for stupid relationships that aren't good for you? Or whatever, choose your favorite self-abusive chant, because I think we've all got it in the head until we learn how to literally shift it. We can't go, I shouldn't think that. I'm not going to think it. I'm not going to think it. I'm not going to think it. Yeah, you are. You're going to think it until you give this a different experience. When you let yourself be a touch kind and you let yourself feel it, you let yourself actually feel it. That's the magic juice. I'm telling you, your emotional being is telling you where you are in relationship to the divine and to your connection with the divine. Okay. If you feel like crap, did you see that Star Trek film with that gorgeous man? What is his? I can't remember his name. But anyway, it's the new series of Star Trek, where the young guy who played Chekhov in real life died tragically. So it's that Star Trek. And in one of the movies, the one with Benedict Cumberbatch as the villain, there was a scene where Captain Kirk goes into the dilithium chamber and he knows he's going to die because it's radioactive and all that kind of stuff. And so there's this, there's the dilithium chamber, and then it's off skew. And so here's where the power is, and the dilithium chamber needs to be like kicked back so that the whole thing can work again and the ship can move forward, right? But it's like this right now, so it's like spark, 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 but it can't reach this. This is us, you guys. This energetically, this is us. And we actually have the power to shift and go and start to move in forward, start to create an energetic frequency that radiates from us. We don't have to do anything. Once we've made this little shift and we're just like sparking along here going, yeah, baby, it's all me. It's all, me and the divine, we're all in alignment. We're good. What happens is you become like a tuning fork. Okay. You become that amazing being that suddenly you feel better, first of all. And if you focus on that, if you're like, even if it's for 5 seconds, come on, even if it's for a little while, 10 seconds, 17 seconds, 30 seconds, focusing on it and going, oh my God, that really feels a little better. That magnifies the feeling and it sets it into your mind's experience, okay? Because this brain, your brain, it can only regurgitate what it has already experienced. It cannot do what spiritual alignment does. Your spiritual alignment, your epiphanies, your ahas, those are all from intuition and inspiration. They're not from your brain, they're through your brain. Does that make sense? Is that cool? Does that make sense? Send me a heart, send me a gift, send me a, hey, yeah, got it. Let me know it's landing or not landing. It would be really, really cool. And send the hearts. I love the hearts. So for us collectively, the silenced voice is really our own. Did you know, I just learned this about a week and a half ago, that back at the beginning of the creation of Christianity, before there was ever Christianity, the Jewish people, of which I'm born into that, although I'm not a religious person, but the Jewish people had a spiritual practice, religion, whatever you want to, I don't know. I'm going to have to check that out. I'm not a historian on this, but it included the feminine. It included the divine feminine. It did. It included the devotion to the feminine, to the heartful, to the compassion, to the inclusivity, to the community building, and then it also had the masculine, the goal oriented, the driving forward, the taking care of in the masculine, divine masculine way. And when the church came in, the guys who wanted to have the control, the guys who wanted to say, you know what, we want you to give us your money. We want you to give us your obeisance. I think that's how you say that word. We want you to kneel at us and ask us for permission to be. They said, here's your new religion. And the Jewish people went, where's the feminine? I learned this from a historian on Next Level Soul podcast. Go to Next Level Soul podcast. Oh my God, you will go down that rabbit hole and you will thank me. I'm not kidding. That's over on YouTube. Amazing. So there's a historian on there, a guy who's talking about the feminine was removed because the feminine gives you that ownership of who you are. Yeah. The feminine is I feel, I share, I love. I'm with, not I'm over. I'm with you. I'm not over you. Right? So when we give ourselves some kindness, it goes a long freaking way. I include. Yes, Maggie. Yes, I include. Exactly. And what we've got right now, there's nothing wrong with the masculine. There's everything wrong with the toxic masculine. Thank you for the rose, honey. Oh, thanks, Maggie. I really appreciate that. That's very, very kind. You know, wouldn't it be cool if they were scratch and sniff? I don't know if you guys remember they used to have scratch and sniff things, you know, but then you'd get one that smelled like, I don't know, dog do. You'd be like, yeah, no, thanks. It's okay. Or a dirty sneaker. No, thank you. Um, thank you, Maggie. Very kind. You know what, Maggie? I'm gonna pull a card for you, okay? Yeah, the dog do. And the sneaker. Yeah. Those are not, it's like, that's like in Harry Potter. What are they? Somebody bots beans, and there are all these different jelly beans that can be great or awful. I'm a total movie nut. I'm going to say to you something that, okay. I'm an actor. And when I say that, I don't mean I'm making my living as an actor, but I've been an actor for 35 years. I've been in a few films, nothing major that you would have seen. I've been in some ads in Cincinnati, Ohio, that you might have seen, but you would have had to go, you'd have to get back in your time machine and go back to the 90s. And I've done a lot of theater work. And what I absolutely love about acting is you get to be real right out loud, and people want you to be. They don't want you to hold back. Acting is not pretending. It is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. People think that acting is pretending. The only thing pretend about really good acting is the situation. But as an actor, you studied acting in school. It's incredible, isn't it? Just like, it's so helpful for leadership, for public speaking, for learning that you don't have to like fall down and drool if you make a mistake, like it's really, really helpful for so many things. I think everybody should take an acting class, but it has to be a teacher who's sane. I've had more insane acting teachers. So, when I do an acting class, I'll let you know. All right, Maggie. So let's see, do you want to pick a card? In other words, do you want to pick one of the spread? Inherited script, silenced voice, energetic leak, blah, blah, blah. Or you want me to just pick it for you? Because let's see, which one am I pulled to? I'm pulled to the number 4 for you. Sacred Rage Catalyst for some reason. Okay. So I'm getting Sacred Rage Catalyst. You may wonder what the heck that is, everybody. Anyway. Anger for women. Beg your pardon. In our culture, we've been taught in so many ways, whether it's the people who raised us or the people that we work with or whatever. We have this social message of you're not supposed to be angry. And so the only place it's like really safe for women to be angry within reason, even there, is like in the army, if you're like on the battlefield and that kind of thing. Like that there, you're golden, you're okay. And actually, without our rage, wow, I just got an incredible image. Without our rage, we don't have anybody to kick the damn door down of social programming and the social shoulds. We need our emotions to flow. And we've been told forever, you're too emotional. Don't be so emotional. Don't do all this stuff. Be practical. You're hysterical. You're too hysterical. All that bull. It's ridiculous. It's freaking ridiculous. I just love it how I've had male bosses and female bosses who've said to me, you're too emotional. And there they are being emotional and putting me down and screaming and yelling and being angry. I thought those were emotions, right? So we need our sacred rage. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to go out and be a dumbass. And right? Thank you, Maggie. It doesn't mean that you or I or anybody else are supposed to go out, be a dumbass and pull a January 6th stunt. Get a grip, be an adult, right? That's not what it means. But when you use your anger, when you can admit, when you can honor your anger, and what I mean is, if you can even have the grace to breathe into it, instead of letting yourself just react blindly, dang it, oh, this is all, but go, I am so angry, and here's why. This is wrong. This is just wrong. When you start to let yourself do that, what you are using is your divine masculine, actually, to kick down the door for your divine feminine, because now you're flowing. Now your energy's flowing, and it can develop into something different. And let me tell you a story, and then Maggie, I'll show your two cards. About 25 years ago, I guess, more, I was out in California, and there was this man who was younger than me. He was like maybe 15, 20 years younger than me. And he's a great graphic designer. And I was doing poetry, writing poetry. We were going to do a book together. And we spent the afternoon going and talking to different people we thought could help us get this accomplished. And I had a great time. He was driving. He drove me back home to drop me off. And I'm like, thanks, that was really fun. And he goes, can I talk to you about something? And he was all suddenly very serious. I'm like, of course, what's wrong? And he goes, well, I'm confused. What are you confused about? Well, because I don't know. I mean, you're so old, and I don't know why I'm attracted to you. Really? Oh, no. Well, as you can imagine, that made me really pretty upset. But I was like, but honestly, I said to him, I thought you were gay. This is confusing because I thought you were gay. He's like, well, I'm confused about that. I'm not sure. So I went up into my apartment after we got through that conversation. I went up to my apartment, and I screamed and yelled and carried on at my picture of my spiritual mother, whose name is Amachi, the hugging saint. And after about 5 minutes of just going off, it's like the anger was still there, but the rage was gone. The fire of it was gone. All right. So rage is a very potent thing for us. Now let's get to the dang reading, right, Maggie? Sorry. Okay. So two cards came out. Let me see. What is this? Page of Swords. Oh. And what is that? This I'm trying to read upside down. The Nine of Wands, right? Okay. Page of Swords. What I'm getting from this is, oh, thank you, babe. Thank you. That's awesome. I think it's important. I think it's the deal. I think it's what's needed. So I'm really glad it's landing with you. That means a lot. When you get a page of anything, this is like the action of going and starting a project. It's the higher level of the ace. It is the more outward level of the ace, as far as I am concerned. And the swords has to do with your consciousness, the way you think, your choices, things like this. Now, the Nine of Wands is, I'll turn it right side up so you can see what it's about. It's really, the Nine of Wands is when you've been pushed up against it. You've gone through it, and it's kind of a defensive card, right? You can see that it's like a kind of defensive, like I'm wounded, but I'm still standing, MFer. I'm still here, right? I'm still freaking here. It's like Whoopi Goldberg says in The Color Purple, I may be old, I may be black, but by God, I'm still here. Yes, ma'am. So thank you for the hearts. I love those hearts. When you've been through the cold, when you've been through it, you've got a choice. You can fold. You can be like, oh, I can't take it anymore. And when I say fold, you do need to fold. You do need to give yourself time away from the battle to process, to bind your wounds, to give yourself some kindness, right? But you can also use it. You can also use that anger that, like, it's not right. It's not, but here's how you use that. And there's another part to it that I'm getting, which is an internal experience of real self-respect. Whether or not you feel that you are doing it enough in your outer life is not the point of this card for you. It is an inner sensing. It is straight down here. It's in the core of you. And you are like, this is about so much more than worthiness. This is about what a friend of mine who is the doctor of worth says. You are worth, and you know this. You are worth. It can't be taken from you. When you were born perfect and pure and 1 minute old, 1 second old, you were pure and perfect, and there is nothing that has ever happened to change that. That is your essence. That is your alignment with the divine. That is the who you are of who you are. So using this injustice internally to internally go, I'm sorry, but I'm done giving in to this thought form. And I'm standing in the knowing that I am all that. It doesn't mean I think I'm better than anyone, but I'll tell you, no one else is better than me either. We stand shoulder to shoulder, and I'm a freaking badass, and I'm so amazing. I mean, that makes my heart hurt just to say it. So I'm wondering if if your heart has been injured, and I mean by that, I don't mean like an actual heart attack or anything. But if your heart's been injured, then I've started doing something. I haven't made a lot of progress yet, but I think it's pretty spot on. I think it's spot on. You know how they say when you meditate, you should focus here? Like that there's so many kinds of meditation, but you've been going through it. Yeah. And I find that my heart is hurting lately, my heart chakra. And I realized, why am I trying to meditate here? Why don't I put my focus on my heart chakra and see if I can't soften to it, not soften it, but soften to it, not be looking at it going, you shouldn't feel that way, or going, oh, that hurts, or, but just like breathe, literally feel like, really breathe into your heart. Okay. Really breathe into it. Okay. Imagine that you've got, however you can do it, just imagine that you've got this constant expression of love coming in into your heart, and think of it as like pink smoke that's just gently just wafting around it. We have to invite ourselves into gentleness and kindness, because we are incredibly conditioned to harshness. We're conditioned not to the divine masculine, but we're conditioned to the toxic masculine, which is be better, do more. It's all this like, oh my God, the literal violence we're doing to our body from the inside. And I experienced it about 10 years ago. And when I addressed it with just a tiny bit of kindness, I went into bliss for 3 days. Yeah. Wow. I was like walking around the world going, everything's good. People are lovely. I know they've got their hangups, but I'm so good. I am. And I was going through homelessness at that time. So if somebody going through homelessness can go into bliss for 3 freaking days just by applying a little bit of kindness, think what you could do. Think about it. This is the kind of stuff they need to do news stories on, right? Hey, I've got a cat biting my ankle. Stop it. Ouch. You've been on a healing journey and you love it. Oh God, that's good to hear. That's awesome. That's just awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing, your energy with me and with us. It's beautiful. And this fell out. So this is where you're going. 10 of Pentacles is like all of the earthly goodies, all of it put together, all of the parts of you put together. You're fine. You're better than fine. You always are. So, our job is to figure out, not just to remember it, because this is limited, remember, but to find ways to experience the truth of it. Oh, thank you, babe. Ah, goodness gracious. Okay. Oh, somebody called, your mom joined. I wish. My mom's been gone for like 40 years. I miss her. Yeah, she passed when I was 21. She was my person and I was hers. I'm in Ohio. Um, I'm in one of the small parts of Ohio that's actually blue. We always vote for inclusion and democracy and compassion and care and the rule of law and this stuff. You were 21 when your mom passed. It's terrible. It's just awful. I was in college at that point, and she passed December 10th, and I had to go back to school after a few weeks, but I spent a couple of weeks drinking heavily. I had my friend Amy, who came over and brought an entire crate of wine. So I stayed on a low level drunk for a couple of weeks with Amy, and then I got on a bus and went back to Vermont, where I was studying. Limped my way through the rest of the year with amazing people. Card just came out. Okay, I think YouTube doesn't like this. YouTube has a problem with nakedity. I don't know about TikTok, so maybe I have to cover her up for them too. I don't know. But anyway, star card. I still want to get banned. You know what I mean? Like, you got to leave TikTok now. Warning, warning, naked woman. Yeah, right. Like nobody's ever seen that before. Okay. But this is where you're going. This is where we are going. And this really circles back to the beginning of the reading when we were talking about how the thought came in and it went out. Oh, when I was talking about how we are going through such a breakdown in our culture. And we want to get back to the way it was, but we can't. It's done. And that's a good thing. And it's also why I say we're going to be okay. Not everybody's going to be okay. I'm not naive. There are people suffering like crazy. It's wrong. It's messed up. It hurts my heart. It's awful. I don't have the word. There aren't words enough, honestly. There just aren't words enough. So people are hurting and all of that. Now, that said, what I have learned is that we can change our experience no matter what we're going through. We can shift it. We are not enslaved to what happens around us. We think we are, because we've not been told how to use our natural feminine energy to shift this. You know how they say that what you focus on increases, and that what you think about is what comes about, that kind of thing. Not entirely true. The reason it has glue is because you've got this and this connected. You've got this connected to your emotion. And so, if I have a really strong emotional tie to some message, I'm not worthy, or I'm always going to be poor, or some bullshit, whatever it is. And I've got it tied to this thought. And I go, well, I'll just change my thought, but I don't shift this. Depending on the kind of person you are. Some people can do that and it will shift this. I'm not one of them. I have to actually shift how I feel. And it has to be real. It can't be just, I'll just pretend. No. I'll just say this long enough and I'll believe it. No, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for most people, or we'd all be a lot happier. So I'm actually going to put something. Oh, I don't think I can. I'll have to type it in. All right. So anyway, if you've ever watched Abraham Hicks, And Abraham talks about the most important thing. If you don't know who Abraham is, go over to YouTube and look up Abraham Hicks, a collection of channeled beings who are channeled by a woman named Esther Hicks. So, ergo, Abraham Hicks. And Abraham, some of the very main aspects that they talk about are that the way you feel is the most important thing. It, like, to the exclusion of getting stuff done. No lie at all. I've learned it. I've experimented with this. It is scary, you guys. It's so scary because for me, like, I learned, I'm trying to get this shirt out from under my butt. Thank you. Too much information. I was sitting on my own shirt. I'm like, could you stop? So if you're sitting there and you are like beating the snot out of yourself, like, I've got to keep working. I got to work 14 hours a day to get this business started. I got to do this stuff. I got to be this leader. I got to do this stuff. It's going to take you, I don't know, it's going to take you so much longer to get that shit done than if you said, okay, wait, I feel like garbage. Stop. You got up, you said, I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to go swimming. I'm going to do something that feels better. This sounds so counterintuitive to us, but it's the absolute stinking truth. Swear to God. God, I'm so busy talking. I'm not even asking you, please do send me gifts if you would, if you feel so moved, share this with your people. We can get more people, listening to the gospel according to the good girl, the goodbye good girl. Now, especially if you are, I'm an entrepreneur and I haven't felt comfortable with saying that for very long, but I'm comfortable now because I finally have my dang feet on the ground. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Maggie, where are you? Where are you in the world? God, I'm kind of channeling in a way, so I just don't, half the time I can't go back to it. You're in Virginia. That is a lovely state. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. Holy moly. Okay, so my heart's still hurting. Woo! So how about if we take a second? How about if we take a couple of minutes here? Put the cards down. How about if we take a moment and together as a collective, we stop the forward movement together and we come into a knowing, a sensing, a maybeing that there's something here. There's something here. It's in the space between me and the screen, between you and the screen. It's within me. It's within you. It's around you. It's called pure positive energy. And there's something here that's more than this. Can we stretch? It is energy, absolutely, Maggie. Yes. How does it feel? Can you sense it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Yeah. Yeah. Let yourself feel it. Even if your head is going, I don't know, is that really true? Am I really? Just say, yeah. Who does it hurt? You go, I'm just gonna, this is how we extend our sense of our sensitivity to ourselves, which extends the sensitivity to others. Once you start to unfold the gift that is the you that is right here, that has been hidden because of the focus, the traditional focus we've been taught on what's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. But this stuff, once you start unwrapping that gift and you start going, oh my God, I had no idea. You get these epiphanies of self-awareness of like, what the hell? I didn't know I was like that. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know oh my God, I feel so I feel shocked. I feel scared. I feel excited. I feel proud. I feel weird. Like you get to feel all the feelings. You get to be your 360-degree human self. And that's sort of like, instead of living on one island called the island of should, you've suddenly given yourself a motorboat. This is what actors do. You've given yourself a motorboat to jump into and go to another go to another island and visit it. Just visit it. I wonder what it would feel like if. I wonder what it would feel like. And then let yourself feel a little bit. You are going to need to thaw. Like this thing with my heart right now, hurting for us. When I get off of here, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to sit with this and I'm going to let it speak to me, and I'm going to breathe into it. And I'm also going to do the magic thing that I teach, which is you bring in a pinprick of feeling 1%, something that feels 1% different and higher. So you're here feeling whatever you're feeling, and you would rather not feel here. You'd rather be up here, but you can't jump from here to here because that's too big a jump. So you're going to feel something that is close, but it's just a little tiny bit over here, right? So, oh my God, I have a picture over there. It's the first piece of art, like real serious art, that I ever bought. And it's beautiful. And as I look at it, I need to be honest about how it makes me feel. I don't want to reach for some feeling that I've decided I want to feel. I just want to find something that feels a tiny bit better. So I look at that, and honestly, I just feel smart for buying that. I'm like, I'm a damn genius. Like, wow, the artist died. And so his family's been selling off all of his stuff over, internet. And it's freaking cool. That was so smart of me to spend that money and do that. I feel like, oh my God, and feeling that really does ameliorate and infuse the feeling that you're not enjoying. It starts to break it up like clouds being broken up by the sunshine. That's exactly how energy works. And that's the feminine. And that's why the people who started religion back in the day didn't want us to have the feminine, because when we have that, there's nobody that we need to get with who says, here's you've been forgiven. You've never been blamed. You think the divine came in and went, you're horrible, I don't like you? That's bullshit. No, never, not in a million. It's not the fabric of reality. Sorry. No, happy to tell you that is not the way it goes. This entire game that we've been playing with this old paradigm that is dying, which is why you're seeing what's going on in our country and in the world. This old paradigm says you need permission to be as fabulous as you want to be. And the more you've been enculturated with the shoulds, the harder it is for you to give yourself the permission you need to be the leader you are, the woman you are, the adult you are, the spirit that you are. So the new paradigm game is energy. It's reaching for what's more than this. It includes this. Oh, good heavens. TikTok sends me these crazy things. It goes, your live is going to end in 5 minutes. Put the puzzle piece in the right. Don't panic, man. It's all right. Oh my God. People gave me gifts. Yay. Thank you. Yay. It's just so cool to me. I think TikTok was brilliant in putting together gifts that are like a penny a piece. I think that's freaking brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Well, exactly. Yeah. Maggie's saying the patriarchy and religion also made the feminine the villain. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. They had to, because the feminine, when you have the divine feminine and masculine together, which is a Hindu representation, right? Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is the male god Shakti, the female. Shiva is the male energy, the divine male energy. Shakti is the feminine. I'm saying it all wrong. I get all excited, but Shakti is the feminine and Shiva is the masculine. And if you look at some of the amazing artwork, you'll see Krishna and Radha. Krishna is said to have lived, to have actually existed. And Krishna, he had a blue tone to his skin. So when you see images from India of somebody playing the flute who's blue, whose skin is blue, that's Krishna. And Krishna, Krishna had a bunch of women that fell completely in love with his energy and with him. And they were all married. I'm not saying they ran around and had orgies. That's not the deal. Yeah, you'll see a lot of it. I'm getting better at the whole, managing TikTok while I'm channeling kind of thing. But if I could do this, I would like share my screen and put up an image, but it's beyond me at this moment. And so Krishna played the flute, and he was a very mischievous little boy. He was always laughing. He was always he was pure joy. And his energy, his divine joy would just lift everybody and make everybody feel absolutely amazing. And there was this group, like I say, of women, and they were called gopis. I'll put that in the chat. Gopis. And these were women who would dance with him, dance to his flute, and they would bow at his feet. They would bring him whatever. They would just be part of his joy. But there was one of them especially, who he considered his real partner. And her name was Radha. Radha, Radha. And that was because Radha really knew, she understood what it was to be the devotee, the devoted one of the divine. And it meant, like, there's one story I heard where all of the gopis were together, and somebody came to them who was ill. And so they were all taking care of this person, trying to get them to be better. And then somebody came to the door and said, "Hey, you guys, Krishna's in the center over there. That's where Krishna is now." And they all of them ran out the door, except for Radha, who stayed, because for her, anybody who she served was her Lord. Anybody she served was Krishna. And the way the story went is that it turns out that the person who was injured was Krishna, who had vibrationally and he disguised himself. Really cool stuff. So it's very deep. This is very deep stuff, and it's so important for us to start to look at the deeper meanings of this for ourselves. We've got to make this stuff practical. Because these are not stories of some state of being that is beyond us, that we have to reach for, we have to deserve, we have to suffer for. That's all bullshit. That's all the old spiritual religious paradigm. It's not real. And it's interesting because part of us knows that, right? Part of us knows that, because what we say is we go, we're all one. Oh, I'm one with the divine. Really, Buckwheat? Then how come you think you're so awful? How come you're still beating the crap out of yourself? And it hasn't shifted at all over the last 40 years. Now, that was my story. I'm not trying to should on you or be mean to you. I'm saying this is what we do because we've been trained and conditioned to think in that way, to think that all of that goodness is somewhere else, and we have to find it or reach for it or but we actually have a direct connection to it because it's our umbilical cord. You can't get more feminine than that. So the question is, and the pursuit is, to bring in the divine feminine, the gentleness, the qualities that you wish that you had when you finally got that connection, which you actually already have and you're not aware of it yet, understandably. But when you start to let yourself go, okay, let me feel just feel a little bit. Like, where do I feel? Where do I already feel a little bit better? Well, I'll tell you, this afternoon when I went swimming, I felt a little bit better. And I didn't swim. I jumped in the damn YMCA pool and went, thank you, Jesus, because it's freaking hot here in Ohio. But it's been a practice, and it continues to be a practice for me to stop and completely allow myself that moment. Not just do it and then move on. Like, the feminine is the moment. It's us birthing ourselves. It's us allowing ourselves to unfold. It's just, yeah, it is, you're right, Maggie, it is the present moment. But, everything that we say with our voices, everything that we say with our minds are filled with subtext and emotional meanings. And so it's so important to listen to ourselves, to say, hold on a second, what does that mean to me? Like, when somebody goes, I want to be in the present moment. Yeah. But for a long time I went, I don't think so. I'm depressed. Why would I want to be in this freaking present moment? Right? It's like everything that we do is so situational. Everything. And it's so individual. So it's whatever, as you look at yourself, as you start to open the gift of your questions, what does that mean? I'm one with God. What does that mean? And you start looking for answers. If you are a questioner, I'm a questioner, not everybody is. And not everybody else is going to do it the same way. So daring to let yourself be your guide in some small, tiny way. There's really so much power in that. So much power in that. It's just unbelievable. Hold on a second. I'm going to just end the stream here for YouTube because absolutely nobody cares. All right. End stream. See you later.